All right, new statistic for you. Over 50% of B2B sales reps are afraid of making a cold call. This is according to Harvard Business Review. So there is a new phobia that's real. It's going around, it's contagious. And I want to talk about today why this is happening, why SDRs are so afraid of making cold calls, how this happened so fast because this was not the case 5 years ago, and why this is a huge opportunity for you, probably the best time to be cold calling in recent memory. So let's get into it. The first obvious reason I believe is due to the rise of sales automation tools and even things like ChatGPT that make it really easy to create, craft, and blast out emails. You can automate your whole day. You can literally automate thousands of sequences down to the follow-ups, and it's a set it and forget it thing. Once you do it, it's just on autopilot. And while that's nice and I'm not totally against it, it shouldn't be a replacement to cold calling. You're exposing yourself to automation if that's the case. If you think you're going to be able to build a career doing that, I would advise against that. I think within a few years, if that's all you know how to do is use automation tools, you're going to be the one that's getting automated. If you don't know how to have a human-to-human connection, pick up the phone and call someone, it's the highest quality interaction, you're not going to have a place in B2B sales. So while I think it's smart to learn some of those capabilities as a supplement to your prospecting efforts, I don't think it should be a replacement to cold calling, and I really think you're just hiding behind the fear of cold calling when you do that. This takes me to my second reason I don't believe SDRs make cold calls anymore, and it's that they've falsely convinced themselves cold calling doesn't work anymore, or that people can't stand or hate cold calls, but for some reason they love getting cold emails. That they believe. And I'm here to tell you that cold calling is still the highest quality interaction. When you can get someone live and you have a strong, confident delivery, it is more effective than any cold email that they would be opening because they can hear your voice, they can trust your tone, and it leads to both higher show rates to those meetings and higher conversion rates to qualified opportunities on those meetings. I'll tell you a story during my time as an SDR manager. I spent 2 years as an SDR manager at a technology company, and during that time, I received hundreds of cold emails from other tech companies trying to sell me sales automation-like tools. I'd say I received about 300 cold emails at least during my 2 years as a manager, and during those same 2 years, I think I received maybe 2 cold calls. I almost never got a cold call from any of these sales reps at these companies, and guess what? The 2 that cold called me got my time and attention. I had lengthy discussions with them. I don't think I ever responded to any of the cold emails. I also want to put to bed this myth that cold calling doesn't work or that people hate cold outreach. That is how business gets done in this country, is by prospecting. You can't just have a great product and put a picket fence sign in your front lawn and expect people to come flocking to you. You could build or have the greatest product or the greatest value proposition on the planet. They're not going to come flocking to you. I actually did a video in the early days of my channel comparing Palantir to Snowflake and how Palantir is considered to have the industry-leading product in its space, but Snowflake ate its lunch for years, and that's because Palantir didn't even have a sales force. They didn't have people reaching out. So even though they had the better product, they got dominated by Snowflake for a long time. I also want to point out that there are massive companies like ZoomInfo that do nothing but help facilitate prospecting and cold outreach. Your contact information, if you work for a public company or a private company, is probably in ZoomInfo's database. Your phone number, your work number, your mobile number, your email is in there. And the country literally allows that. The government allows a company like ZoomInfo to exist because they know that's how business gets done. If people didn't like cold calling, then why does it work so well? So much business gets done in this country from someone picking up the phone, setting a meeting with an unsuspecting prospect who may not have been expecting that call or know they needed what you're proposing, but then they end up becoming a customer down the line. So in the end, cold calling does work. It is nowhere near as common. Email is a way more competitive, crowded space now than cold calling. If you're actually making cold calls, you're one of the few, and you're going to stand out and have a much better chance on each individual cold call of booking a meeting. So now that leads me to why you personally should be cold calling. I kind of just touched on the first reason about how cold calling is a much higher quality interaction, and for every 100 emails your target prospect is getting, they're maybe getting 1 cold call or not even getting cold called at all. So the space is a lot less crowded. The next reason is because just by doing the bare minimum on cold calls, you're going to be able to stand out to your leadership. Leadership values cold calling. 1 meeting booked off a cold call versus 1 meeting booked off a cold email. I can't explain why. A meeting's a meeting, but they value that cold call better because they know you did it in a way that most reps aren't able to do. And if you're going beyond the bare minimum and making, let's say, 100 dials a day, and you're consistently making on average 100 dials a day, you are going to stand out in your leadership's eyes. That's the type of stuff that's going to get you whatever promotion you want next. Because remember, the SDR role is not just about being an SDR. There's a bright future ahead of you in tech sales, but you have to earn the promotion and get the right promotion. So if you're doing things like making 100 dials a day, you're going to stand out a lot more than your peers who are just blasting out emails. So sure, do both, but you want to put yourself in that unique territory and show that you're not afraid to get your hands dirty, pick up the phone and call someone, because I'm telling you, that's what these hiring managers for account executives are looking for. And the most important thing that's in it for you is the confidence that you will develop, that sense of growth that you will develop, knowing that you now have a money-making skill, the ability to pick up the phone and call someone. Out of all the skills I've learned in my 6 years in enterprise software sales, from learning how to run discovery, from learning how to progress deals, to negotiate and close contracts, the skill I am most proud of and that built my confidence more than anything was learning how to pick up the phone and cold call someone, because it was something I didn't know if I'd ever learn how to do. And once that switch flipped in my head from being nervous about making cold calls to being excited because I knew if I got a live call, I had a very good chance of booking the meeting, that's when I knew I had a skill that was not going to ever be taken away from me. It's like riding a bike. And conversely, if you never learn how to cold call or feel comfortable picking up the phone and calling someone, it is totally going to stunt your future career growth, because you might make it to that account executive role sneaking by just by doing emails or getting creative on LinkedIn. But guess what? There's going to become a time when you need to pick up the phone and get someone going, and your manager's like, hey, just give them a call. And if you deep down know you don't have the ability to do that, it's going to hurt your confidence as a sales rep and totally stunt your growth in terms of where you want to progress to in the future. So learn how to do this right your first year as an SDR. Don't follow the crowd. Don't hide behind email and ChatGPT. Sure, dabble in some of that stuff, but I promise you the most important skill you need to learn is how to pick up the phone and call someone. So hope this helped. If it did, hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one.